Now, we are live. Now, when we do these little lives, we have to definitely make the page go public. So let's do this because we can't do it before. So, hey, you guys. Hi. We're back. Wisdom Wednesdays. This is Michael host. Which one you want to go by? Because you got a few aliases. So,
My, my
hi.
real name,
Let's
Michael
go.
the
That is.
Archangel.
All right. That is Michael. Y'all know what's up. And I'm a set. So let me just go ahead and really quickly do this. Bear with me for a moment. Okay.
Outside tonight.
And we are definitely on YouTube, right? Under Dynamic Talk. I'll get more info so we can see that up on the screen. Let me just make this go public. There's a lot of things going on out in the world right now. And we want to talk about some of that. You know, we're going to try to be very sensitive.
Rough out here.
It's rough out here. And it's even rough on social media, so
Still got to deal with real life after we get off of social media.
facts.
So
Okay.
can only shape the narrative, but in actuality, what we live and what we experience every day is the real truth.
Right. Correct. So we are live. And fact of the matter is that we can't run away from it. We can't run away from it when we get off the screen, just like you said. It still has to be dealt with. And I think the best way to deal with it is as a unit, right? That's one of the things I don't want to say they, but that are kept away is the unity, the people discussing the issues amongst themselves versus going to a source. We shouldn't have to go to a source to understand the issues in a community. It doesn't matter which race you are, it doesn't matter what, community people want to talk about the issues and see if they're on the same page, and if they're not, which nobody has to be, at least somebody come to a conclusion, but they don't want that. They want to keep it separate. So we just chopping it up, right? I'm gonna go to some of your notes, but um, one of the things you were talking about was the infamil shortage, right? Um, how do you feel about that? I have my own feelings.
I was
Um,
just I was just listening to Judge Joe Brown today talking about the expenditure and access to products that are here in America versus what they are doing overseas. You know, the United States has always been this kind of allied country that gives money. They, they're supposed to be these great humanitarians.
right.
And they just gave $30 million over there to Ukraine. And here it is, our people over here in America is starving for baby milk, for baby formula. Now we can go into the aspects of whether it's healthy or this or that, but these people are dependent. The American people are dependent on this product in order to in order to raise their children, in
Children.
order for the survival of their children, and it's not being met versus against you giving money to these people. And then they also allocated some more millions to go over there at the same time that this so-called this this shortage is happening.
That's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, I know you can deal with the aspect of the health issues, and many women have, this was very controversial because, a lot of people got on social media talking about some, well, if you can't, uh, if you can't buy baby formula, you have to do what's the next best thing, or the first best thing is to breastfeed. And a
Mhm.
lot of women was like, I can't breastfeed. We have certain difficulties and problems dealing with breastfeeding. A lot of them have never breastfed before, you know,
Mhm.
and it's not because my children were never breastfed.
Mhm.
They raised off of soy milk,
Mhm.
and my mother didn't breastfeed me. I was raised off of carnation milk.
Man,
Uh,
remember that pet milk? They say pet milk. My mama still say pet milk. When I hear that, I start thinking cats drink this too
But
sometimes.
it's still and all, it's still powerful.
I know it is.
And then as we got older, we got the regular 2% cow milk and mixed it with water.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's what I raised my grandchildren, my first grandchild off of, and the rest of them they are almond milk. They took almond milk.
Mhm. It's my I look at things from a spiritual point of view and um a spiritual point of view. Before I start expressing that, even though they're allocating all this money to go somewhere else and it's not being supportive to our own kind in America, um, why do you think that? Like, if they're saying it's a shortage, is it a shortage or is it a stoppage?
Well,
What's the
they're we talked about this before, and I was telling you about the Georgia Guidestones and their directive of reducing the population down from 8 billion people in the entire
correct?
world, 500,000,
Mhm.
500 million,
So we
500
say, so we
people.
say, but everybody knows better at this point. Hopefully, if you
So
don't,
that's going to be a lot of
scaling.
collateral damage, to
Yeah.
use better terminology,
Hmm.
and things that is focused that way. You know, how can you allocate funds for another country? And you say that you're going to put these these expectations on this country, where if they don't comply with the directives of the American society, then we're not going to import or export anything from your country. And then here it is, you have your own country suffering for it, as with the gas prices. That's it. Food and transportation is the major commodities, and
Hmm.
the major infrastructure that directs
A
how
society.
your people will live.
Absolutely. And it seemed like the total breakdown right now.
Well, it's not no total breakdown. It's not a breakdown. It seems like this is done deliberately.
Yeah, absolutely. The how can I say this? My thing, like I said, is always spiritual for me. It's I see things to where one, it's about time we start taking matters into like finding ways to feed because at this point, it's more of if they have a huge collapse on stuff,
Mhm.
how how are you going to feed yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the dollar something will matter, but it would be more of the have and the have nots.
Mhm.
There will be something that have this even exchange. Um, and some people will not have it. It can be a dollar, it can be silver, gold, whatever the case is, crypto, whatever the case is.
Mhm.
Um, and it may not even be enough to pay for whatever you need, right? And that's where it all starts. But it's like we need to get back to the basics at this point because we've been the dependent, and the dependency is good, but at some point we have to find a way to start getting back to nature, finding
Yeah,
ways to get back without having to be sustained by another entity.
yeah. Bobby called it living off the government's tick,
you know
and
and it's crippling. It can be helpful because there's people that utilize it for the best of the to get out of the situations that they may be in.
nah,
Mhm.
you first when I went back to school, when I went back to college, one of the first essays that I was introduced uh, to was by Booker T. Washington.
Mhm. Mhm.
Essay was entitled "On Self-Reliance."
Mhm. Mhm.
That means he was trying to get this was the this is what Booker Washington was trying to do. He was trying to
Mhm.
after post slavery, he was trying to get black people back into the mainstream of society.
Mhm.
They could be independent
Mhm.
and control their own destiny.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
was all during the that was before Jim Crow or during Jim Crow, and it was also during the Harlem Renaissance, our Renaissance period, and also during the Civil Rights movement. This same message was reiterated with
Mhm.
Malcolm. It was
Mhm.
reiterated with Garvey. It was
Mhm.
reiterated with Marcus Garvey,
Mhm.
Elijah, and all of these men spoke on the black community being a separate entity, being a state within the states, being a
Mhm.
nation within the nation. And that's what we have totally forgotten. And we have, and from generation to generation, we have lost that aspect of self reliance. And therefore, we are at the point that we are right now.
Mhm. Mhm. Pinned against the wall, and not just one, all. It's to the point where it's like it's not it's like groups, race groups and things like that. They don't even matter at this point. They making it a matter, but at the same time it shouldn't matter because everybody's in the same
About
pot.
humanity, we
It's
ain't talking about
humanity.
no race.
Right. Right. And it's like, people try to get up out of a scary moment. They step on top of each other.
Yeah,
Nobody cares. Everybody just stepping on everybody, trying to get out of the way. But it's like you wouldn't have to worry about that Pete and Stampede, um, if you just stop, remain calm, and collect yourself and say, "Hey, what can we do about this? How can we see it?" Because we see everything is in front of us. We see it. The news is saying it. It's nothing to hide. It's all over. Social media platforms and stuff to some extent. You know, and
mhm,
it's like, how do you, um, you know, because look at this point right here. You have babies that's not even eating like they would typically. But guess what? The beauty of it is that there's a way, they are finding a way to feed that child. Whether it's through the bosom, 9 times out of 10, I hope it is. Because that's the best way.
yeah,
And not only that, it would start bringing that child or the generations to a cleaner way of living, a cleaner, another a restart on
mhm,
healthy beginnings.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like, everything has like I can see the reset happening. I mean, you even know through the equinox and the table of Dendera. We see what's going on. We know what's going on. Poles are swapping, or in a sense of doing so. And things are changing. But for people who are like sleeping so hard, that's the part that's like the big bothersome, because so many people gonna get left behind. But I don't know if I don't even know if they even like, I've noticed I don't flow through the internet as much like people probably think I do. Or not the internet, but social media. And I haven't noticed any of like the issues and topics that's going on around the world floating through social media? Have you noticed that?
Well, it's a lot. Everything is on social media. You got Monique and the other little comedy dude. They going at each other, going at each other's throats,
But
and
is it
everything.
meaningful stuff? Is it stuff that that really matters?
Oh, it does. It has a specific. It has
Hold
a
on one
specific.
moment. Hold on one moment. What's the matter? What's the matter? What are you worried? Hold on, baby. One second. I apologize for that. Okay.
I'm gonna have to break in like about one, about five.
Say again.
I say I'm gonna have to take a break in like 5 minutes. You
Oh,
know,
it's you know.
but as far as current events and everything, we have to deal with the what's going on in the country as far as the abortion issue. Now that's been swept under the rug for a couple of ticks. You know, nobody is talking about that anymore.
You think they're
They,
being C word?
yeah, they did their thing on that and everything, and it's like they dismissed that, and because then we got distracted by the Bronx killing.
It's so many
And
distractions. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, the Bronx killings, and then the mass shootings with the see, this is what nobody wants to talk about, what happened with these children in Texas and this mass shooting, that these children were Hispanic. 90 I think it was 96 or 98% of the students who were going to that school were Hispanic. They never mentioned that ever. They never mentioned that ever on the news. But if it would have, but just in the case of the Bronx shooting, it was automatically automatically known and automatically stated that these were black people who were being killed. What's the difference?
Hmm.
Now check that out.
That that's pretty interesting because I even wondered, to try to understand what's going on because, you know,
Never mentioned that these children were of Hispanic heritage, and this was a Hispanic community, and also that they blaming the police force for their negligence. That the police force was basically comprised of Hispanic men. What
so
say, and how does that fit into the formula of the dichotomy that we have with the black and brown relationship? See, because they act like these children who were killed in the Texas shooting, they act like they were mainstream Americans, like white. They never mentioned their nationality.
but yeah, it was the impression, right, that that's what's going on. That's interesting. There's always some stuff, some hidden understanding behind it all.
The agenda. And,
It's
and I just wondered about that, and I'm still waiting on them to mention the correlation of ethnicity and what happened in between these two events that were major events.
they were, yeah, that's terrible.
That's
That's because it does, when you see the target, you have a different understanding.
mhm.
Every target is a different understanding, and it carries its own story. Because a lot of times those people that do that enact those acts, they don't really get a lot of information, or you don't hear about what's really going on, why they did it and stuff like that. It's probably like them getting paid off to do some weird stuff. Who
I
knows?
The whole thing is in y'all military vernacular, it was a clusterfuck,
Yeah.
a total clusterfuck. And now everybody's trying to uh, cover up the issue and make excuses for the issues, and we all go back to this thing about, let's take another aspect of it called gun control.
Mhm. I already know where that's going. I already know where that's going.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Mhm. Yes, but this is the problem. Hold on. The problem is the problem is that they had something out there saying that they would want they're trying to do gun control but take away the assault rifles.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I totally agree with that.
Right, right. I can deal with that. Before it's like taking
As far
people
as that age, they was talking about the age limit. You know, you
because
should
they allow people to do
have like that. You
18.
should not have no gun like that. You know,
And that's
when
the
we
part I don't
were growing up,
understand.
we had a little. Our grandfathers and them gave us
BB
a little
guns, right?
when we went hunting and everything, after we had our BB guns, we was trading off BB guns. Then we had a little rifle. Well, we used to go out shoot rabbits and squirrels and everything.
I don't want to talk to you no more.
How to hunt,
How you
you
gonna
know.
kill a rabbit? What's going on with y'all family? What's going on? Why y'all killing rabbits? Cute little rabbits. That's
You
BS,
you gotta survive off the land, baby. Shit,
man. Whatever.
there ain't no vegetables out there. What you gonna eat? If it
Right.
ain't no fish out there, what you gonna
Right.
catch?
He said, he said, ain't no
I'm
fish out
sorry, little squirrel. And you know our ancestors, our Native American ancestors or our indigenous, they used to all respect the
there.
aspect of the earth giving back to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's
If they
just
would kill something and everything, they would thank the ancestors for doing that, and they would release their spirit
right.
back into the universe. And
Absolutely.
so it was a symbiotic relationship that we
Praying
had
over the food. Right. They don't
instead
even
of
pay for the food
killing for
anymore.
sport, and killing unnecessarily and
Right.
killing out of greed.
Right. Right. So much
Like,
just
where's all our chickens coming from? Where's all these,
you know, you
where
don't
all
know. They didn't killed all
all
the
these
chickens.
chicken wings coming from?
We can't reproduce that fast.
It's
But
only two wings on one chicken.
right, right. That's the crazy part about it. You really don't know anymore. And this is why I think this whole reset thing is in our benefit. We just have to be ready and prepare ourselves for um, the things that stand before us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
We have to not watch so much um not watch so much stuff that's distracting us and ask yourself, what is it? Is it survival that we're looking at, or is it entertainment? And right now we're in a place where they are serving beer in a circus, you know.
yeah. Well, we living in two types of dynamics, and it's always been that way. Is it you? Either you living on the survival mode or you living life the way you want to live.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
actually are living. And most people operate on the survival mode all the time, and they operate in their lower nature, in their carnal,
absolutely.
and they never, just like you were saying, they never elevate themselves to a spiritual level,
Lord
to
chakra.
a spiritual level, and everything. And that's when survival becomes something that's like it's non-existence. Like I'm not surviving, I'm living.
Right, right.
That's the beautiful thing about having a higher consciousness about everything that goes around you, everything that happens in the world every day, is that you can rise above that station of
Absolutely.
survival mode into living into the upper realms and the higher consciousness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We just have to be ready to we don't know the steps. We don't understand the steps that it takes to get us there and remain at ease and know that there's something higher or something outside that's watching over and guiding. Only if you're sensitive to it. If you're not sensitive to it, then you're not going to connect with nature. You're not going to be, you know, um,
You're not gonna be in sync. You're
you're
not
not
gonna
going to be in
be
sync, and you're not going to know how to
in harmony with the universe.
correct. Correct.
On the movie Apocalypso that Mel Gibson made about this certain tribe and everything that was over in the Amazon, and they
Yeah.
was against each other. The young boy was he was waiting for them to come and attack them, and what he did was he stuck his head on the ground and he started listening. He started listening to the earth,
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
and he heard those people coming.
Yes.
And he took all necessary preparations and everything to take care of his family and everything. That was one of the most powerful movies that was ever
Mm,
made.
movie.
And
Okay.
we don't understand. We have gotten away from that intuitiveness
Yes. Yes.
and that
Yes.
alignment with the universe and with the earth itself. You know,
Right.
it's throwing us off course because we get into this materialism and this egoism and
Hmm.
aspect of the mundane world, and that everything you forget about your spirituality, you forget about your intuition, you forget about all of those things that you use as you were growing up. Because
Right. Right.
who are growing up right now, they are totally devoid
They're
of
desensitized. Yeah.
because of their ancestors. Their
Right.
ancestors is not teaching it anymore. And therefore you have what we have today. You know, I mean, it's just mass confusion, chaos.
Yeah. I know, because we're not connected. We're not as one. We can't. And the foods. I always refer back to foods. I had a class um, that I had talked to today. A classroom full of healthcare workers, and even though they were healthcare workers, I'm trying
They
to
still wasn't healthy, huh?
find
I say they still wasn't healthy.
pretty much, yeah, and the whole thing
You know,
is that
still,
they're caring for people that are like dealing with a lot of health conditions, and all they do is keep them comfortable, but they're in pain. They're still in pain, and it's all because of inflammation. They lose their memory because of inflammation, all this inflammation. And people don't realize that all of the issues start from inflammation. And that's even at the end of the day, which is in a holistic sense, spirituality, you know,
Mhm.
you cannot connect, to nature. You cannot connect to and be one with nature if you don't eat properly. You can't feel, you can't sense, you can't see what's going on. Have you ever? And I know you notice this. Okay, many people notice this because of movies, but they always say whenever there's danger, animals start to go the other way. They start to take hill, run for the hills,
Intuition.
and they
Oh,
think
what
it's a
they call
phenomenon. It's not. It's just they are in tune, and they are not distracted by TVs. Have you ever saw a bird watching TV if he wasn't connected in
unless you had them in the house and everything, and, you put them in the cage and everything, and
put him
you
in
make
a cage, he probably start talking back to you. Start speaking English like a parrot.
you right there.
Right. So we can't connect. We can't connect. We can't see what's going on. Most people can't see what's going on, and it's right in front of us. And
Mhm.
it's all because we're super desensitized to being one, and it's a sad thing. But I'm trying to, here I am. I'm trying to get this. Okay. I'm trying to grab this link, our YouTube link. So
I got to take one break.
go ahead. We're gonna get ready to close it out. So do what you gotta do, and I'll copy this if I can get it. All right, you guys. I don't want to hit the wrong button. Is it control? Nope, I'm pressing the wrong button. I'm normally working on my Apple, but I have this Microsoft and it's the keyboard, so I don't really know how to use it. So having a hard time copying and pasting this YouTube link. I'm not used to this. And I'm hitting all kind of switches. All right. Okay. There we go. All right, you guys. There we go. Okay. That was painful.
Okay, I'm back.
And I'm still trying. Dynamic talk.
I just want to mention that I went and bought my granddaughter. Well, she took some pictures and everything. She graduated from kindergarten, the garden of children. And
little babies moving on.
So I'm so proud of I'm so proud of her.
She should be.
Especially as being a grandfather. I would never thought I could even say grandfather out of my mouth. It's referring to myself. It's like,
wow. What, you felt like you were incapable of being a grandfather? There it is, you guys.
Like, I'm never going to be a grandfather.
Sheesh, this took a lot, and I still don't have it in here. Okay, all right, you guys, that's the link. Okay, go ahead and click on that link and hit that subscribe button. Okay, even if you don't watch it, just hit the button. Okay, just hit the damn button.
Hit the cash out, as Dr. Umar say. Hit the cash. We ain't got no cash.
I've been told you got to let people know what you want. You just can't expect for them to assume. You got to tell people what to do. Okay, they're looking for direction.
I was just looking at a video about Black Lives Matter and the $99 million that they got and how they allocated their funds. It was just so horrible.
I don't even want to talk about it.
See, that's what we got to talk about though, because our people are supremely duped into these organizations, the new Black Panther Party, and NAF's NFA, not fucking around with this clown, and he just got convicted of doing exactly what they said he was doing.
This is the thing. Let me itemize the Black folk race.
Come on, man.
Let me itemize this a little bit. I love my people, but listen, we can't fall into the rat hole. There's like carrots in front of us, and we have to be mindful of how we do it. Now, this is the thing. We have learned a game of corporations. And the only reason why I can talk about this is because I was doing this for a while and I still understand and dabble. I do business. So with this, okay, that's the link. Okay, so and subscribe. Anyways, we want to know, we want to play in the big boys club, which is typically not for the poor. Okay, I would say the poor because there's two languages that's being spoken. You have Latin and Aramaic, and in the financial world, the corporate world, that's Aramaic and Latin. Either you know this language or you don't, that language. So when we find that we know a little something about it, the language, it has already been utilized, milked, um, ran over a million times, perfected, continually perfected, and they move on. So when the poor begin to learn the language, it's like, are you late? You know, and when they get into this corporate stuff, they get into it not understanding the things that they have to do to keep them out of trouble with it. It's okay to allocate your funds in your corporation, but you have to do it properly. You have to, take the proper measurements, have the right paperwork. You have to, make sure your minutes, there. It all
Clarification.
has to make sense. Hmm?
You have to have clarification, and
All that.
when you're dealing with 503c organization, charitable organizations,
You have to be
there
very careful.
there has to be a complete element, especially when you got that much money. You talking about millions of dollars. You gotta have a complete element of clarity.
Yes, yes. And that's where a lot of they get stuck because they don't understand that this is a game. This is a game. This is a game of chess. This is of not even chess. Just
It's chess. It's
it's
exactly that. It's
it's
exactly how you move your pieces on the board.
correct. But on the corporate side, when people think that, oh, okay, I can abuse it, it has to align with the mission statement and the business plan for the corporation, and you cannot you can't deviate from it. That's why they have the statements and the plans. So when people who don't understand this game, and then they go in and start abusing the system, the FCC, the SEC is going to come after you because you are, um
Misallocate the funds.
you're messing with, you know funding. So all they have to do is do the paperwork, make sure whatever you are trying to do with your business, it has to align with what you're saying you're going to do before you do business. And there has to be a roadmap. The roadmap must be followed, and you must have your officers, if you have any, on board with everything you do, board members and all.
Yeah, board of
Because, right, so they know, when they do their audits, they already know what you're missing based on what they're looking at. So if you're not writing the minutes, like you're supposed to, if you go and buy yourself a Mercedes Benz, you're like, hey, I want to go buy this car for my
gotta
company.
write it down, fam.
Write it down, and get the corp, and you have to have your officers on board, but you
Yeah.
have to also have a logical explanation on why you need this vehicle. And it is okay for you to say, we are a company that we want to make sure the appearance of the company is taken seriously, and we want our board members, officers, to represent the company in this vehicle. It's okay. You just have to document that. And then, and there's tons of perks. It's like so many perks. You don't have to abuse the system. You just have to make sure it marries up with the mission statement and all the way to the end of the rainbow for this company. Whether you're going to have shares, or where you're going to go ahead and, like, get a stock symbol, or whatever the case is, uh, get on Wall Street, or whatever the case is, you still have to show that. And when it comes to audit time, they want to see that, and
But
if your stuff is tight, they can't say much of anything.
the dichotomy of Black Lives Matter is they did that. They have a mission statement. They have a whole website that
But they're
declares
misallocating the funds.
non-affirming, non-affirming.
So why are they messing up the money like that? That's just, I mean,
Because I mean
greed.
that
It's
you
not
know you know how when you poor and you never had anything before,
right. Right.
if somebody come give you, it's just like if I came and gave you $10 million right now. First thing you gonna do is like,
Right,
oh,
right. You know,
what you gonna do first?
I'm
First, I'm talking about
listen,
this your money. This ain't this your
right.
money.
This is the thing. It is one thing to buy a nice outfit, even if you do have the funding to do so from your company. You don't have to buy Versace. You don't have to buy Gucci. You don't have to do all that stuff. But you can buy fine linen and silk. You can
Huh.
buy nice clothes that's made by very nice designers, because you want to look good when you step into a meeting, when you talk to whomever is going to
Yeah,
be doing business
what's
with your
wrong with
company.
dressing nice?
It's okay to drive a Maybach. It's okay to have a chauffeur doing this for you and driving you around because you have to sit in the back seat and make phone calls and you can't do that. I need one of those right now, So, but hell, I'll get there.
Mhm.
But listen, it's more of why do you need it? Doesn't make sense. And don't abuse what you have, because they're gonna come after you. They really will. You know, you don't have to get fancy.
Hey, but it, I almost lost my thought. It was one thing about oh, I lost my train of thought. It was right on my mind. It's one thing about uh when you have money like that. The organizational issue and its clarity and everything is that all of these organizations, all of our black organizations, have a history of being backed by who, being founded and backed by who. You know, okay, now we have that understanding.
We're gonna put
And
those monkey icons up there and them little emojis.
I sent you this video and I posted it like maybe about 3 or 4 times on my Facebook page called the relationship in between black leaders and the small hats.
I know.
We all know who the small hats are. And there was also a book, 2 books of the first edition and the second edition written by the Nation of Islam that talk about the secret relationship in between blacks and Jews. And this was the most definitive expose and written record that the Nation of Islam that I commend them of, that I
Mhm.
really commend them of, and I don't really mess with the Nation of Islam like that.
Right, right.
Even though they have a Moorish background and everything, but uh, these 2 books was 2 books that people need to read. People need to read, and it will give you a relationship in between all the way back from Frederick Douglass up to Rosa Parks, up to Martin Luther King, up to Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, all the way up to Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan.
The connections. Hmm.
And it will tell you how the Ashkenazi influence has always been there in the
The
black
background.
community, even in the black diaspora as far as slavery.
Wait, absolutely. Absolutely. Even the NAACP um, with the Rainbow Coalition. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and save some of this for next week. Yeah. And discuss more. Hey, you guys, listen, look, check us out on YouTube. We have the link right here. Go ahead and click the link and hit the subscribe button and the notification button and continue on with your business for the rest of the evening. We thank you
Like
so much.
and
Like,
share.
like and share. Okay. Don't share us too much, okay? Because we don't want to be out there like that. But um, but yes, holla at us over there, and we'll be continuing with these topics, discussions. All right, you guys. See you next time. 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, and y'all can figure the rest out. I'm just joking. What is it? 8:30 Central Time. What is that? Eastern?
Uh,
Mid
yes,
Central.
Midwest time,
Yeah.
Chicago time, Detroit time.
Chicago. Now y'all can figure it out from there. All right, you guys. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you. Until next time.
I'll say in Hotep my yacht.
That's right. Ashe.